For thousands of players, Habbo Hotel was a digital social world built out of pixels. People built identities, reputations, friendships, enemies, and entire online empires inside a hotel made of isometric tiles. But beneath the colorful rooms, cute avatars, and friendly roleplay, there was another side of Habbo that isn't really talked about, but I find super interesting. A side of the game shaped by scripts, glitches, and more. There were a handful of players on the hotel that were rewriting the rules of the hotel itself. This is the story of Habbo Hotel's crazy history of scripts, hacks, glitches, and bugs. Mutants. No, not these mutants. These. One of the most well-known forms of scripting in Habbo became known as mutants. This type of scripting focused just on the way avatars looked. Users would script different colors of clothing, skin, and costumes directly onto their character that wasn't normally available in the game. Through scripting, they were able to inject these into the game and use them anyway. Another early form of scripting came from Habbo Cinema. When players entered the cinema screen, there were costumes available that could be worn inside the space. Through scripting, users began taking those cinema costumes and placing them into private rooms. This became known as cinema mutants. Costumes that were supposed to be restricted to the cinema environment suddenly appeared across the hotel, inside normal rooms, and worn by regular avatars. What was meant to be a temporary feature in one specific area of the game was now being extracted and reused through scripting. Scripted Fernie. Scripting didn't just affect avatars and rooms. It also extended to furniture, often bringing rare or unavailable items into the hotel before their official release. For example, the gold and blue pods were removed from Habbo Hotel UK catalog very early, but were scripted back into the hotel by players, remaining in circulation until they were accidentally released in 2008. The Army Plasto chair also appeared in a special, unavailable color through scripting, giving players access to furniture that was never meant to be public. Colored bear rugs weren't officially available until 2005 in Habbo Hotel UK, and were later added to other hotels, but long before that, players had already scripted them into rooms. Even older furniture was affected. The chessboard and the tic-tac-toe board, added to Habbo Finland in 2001, were removed in early 2002 due to bugs and errors, yet they continued to appear on Habbo UK through scripted methods, until eventually removed through the external files. The Army Plasto chair is one of my absolute favorite rares I would love to own one day. Sticky coloring. Another notable scripting exploit was known as sticky coloring. Normally, stickies in Habbo came in a limited set of colors: blue, pink, green, and yellow. But with this exploit, players could create stickies in any color they wanted. A single sticky could stand out in ways the game never intended, and suddenly rooms were filled with colors and combinations that had never existed before. It's widely believed that user Sonic Mouse was the first Habbo to uncover this exploit, though there's no definitive proof, only screenshots that remain. While it's unlikely that he was truly the first to discover it, he was almost certainly the first to go fully public with it, using the exploit to create chaos in other players' rooms. Back in early 2002, white stickies were unheard of, and their sudden appearance shocked the community. Within months, the knowledge of scripting colored stickies spread like wildfire throughout the hotel. At its peak, it was even possible to script stickies and furniture in a way that would disconnect users upon entering a room, causing serious disruption. In 2002 and 2003, some players couldn't even access their own rooms nearly for 6 months. Habbo staff eventually addressed the issue, first in summer 2003 and again in 2004, patching the exploit to prevent further chaos. Habbo eventually began deleting rooms with these scripted stickies. I did my own digging and found an old room with some of these colored stickies still on the hotel in 2026. I'm pretty sure this is the only room left with colored stickies left on the hotel, and it looks like it even shows a user how to set up the glitch that caused users to error back in the day. Custom colored pets. Same thing with the stickies. This exploit allowed any pet in the catalog to have a custom color prior to purchase. Once purchased, the pet would be that color forever, even once placed in a room or put back in the inventory. I actually have seen one of these with my own eyes over a year ago. User Jeffer placed his in my room once. He placed down a bright red cat and said he doesn't like to show it off or keep it in a room due to the worry of the hotel removing it. I really wish I had taken a screenshot because I can't find any pictures online documenting this. Clones. Another common scripting exploit involved cloning avatars. Players would duplicate their Habbo to create multiple copies of themselves in a single room. This allowed one person to appear as several Habbos at once, multiplying their presence, confusing others, and making rooms feel strangely crowded. Posters and furniture in the black void. Another common form of scripting involved placing furniture inside walls and inaccessible areas, the so-called black void. Players would use scripts to position posters and other furniture in these hidden parts of the room, outside normal boundaries. This wasn't just harmless experimentation. Rooms where multiple users had rights were often affected, and some were later trashed, forcing the owners to rebuild and redesign their spaces from scratch, while others used it to design a very unique looking room unlike others. Non-Habbo photos, real-life photos. One of the more controversial exploits in Habbo Hotel involved importing real-life photos into the hotel. This began with editing furniture and avatar CCTs, the files that the Shockwave client used to load images and code, by replacing the original CCTs with their own. Players could display custom images inside the game. Later, this method involved using billboards and the Lido Fuse screen. Habbos could change images and take photos that incorporated real-life imagery into the hotel itself. The impact was significant. The Habbo camera eventually removed because players were uploading and sharing NSFW content, which was impossible for staff to fully control. Before these developments, only a small number of real-life photos existed in the hotel, primarily through the original CCT edit method, but by the time the exploit became widespread, the ability to bring the outside world into Habbo had become one of the platform's most notorious issues. The camera did come back into the hotel years later, and the same thing happened again, except a lot of people were using these photos to make large artworks that were visible to other users. Eventually, Habbo removed the feature to be able to view pictures from the wall before clicking it, causing all new photos after that to be solid orange. The old photos that were taken before the fix are still on the hotel currently, with some users trying to sell them as valuable artworks. Here are some of these amazing photo artworks I found on the hotel. These are mainly from this user if you want to check the rest of these out. Loaders. While not technically a form of scripting, loaders played a huge role in the Habbo Shockwave client era. When the hotel was down for maintenance, players discovered they could use external client loaders to access the hotel anyway, effectively bypassing closures. This became particularly significant during the highly anticipated version 7 update of Habbo Hotel UK. Players who logged in through the loaders noticed unexpected changes. Posters like the Britney Spears poster had been replaced with the golden record, and other elements of the hotel have been subtly shifted. Loaders also gave the users a chance to customize the hotel's appearance. One notable example was the Coke music loader, which displayed all Habbos wearing avatars from the later rebranded My Coke game. Serverside Fernie. One of the more disruptive forms of scripting involved server-side furniture. On many occasions, players scripted furniture into the hotel that wasn't real. It couldn't be picked up, moved, or interacted like normal items. Examples included furniture appearing in different colors with altered names, or even PH boxes, placeholder boxes, being added to the rooms. These items existed temporarily and disappeared once the exploit was patched. The method relied on tagging furniture. Every piece of furniture has strings like ID, sprite, rotation, stack, color, and tag. The tag section is normally used for things like opening and closing doors or adding trophy descriptions. By combining a tag with a new furniture ID, scriptors could create unique, non-existent furniture. While it looked real in the room, the moment someone tried to pick it up, the scripted item would vanish. Serverside Furnish showed just how far scripting could go, not just visually, but in altering the structure of the hotel itself, even if only temporarily. Funny enough, the placeholder boxes made an accidental comeback when the game Habbo Origins first launched. Users that purchased the most expensive bundle of HC received a PH box. I think that they were only obtainable the first day of launch, then shortly patched. Users still kept the PH box and were treating it like a rare Fernie, selling them for high prices. Not too sure if this is still a Fernie in Origins, or if they ever ended up fixing that. If anybody wants to let me know in the comments. Lingo injection. Before Habbo moved to Flash, the game was built on Shockwave, using a language called Lingo. Through an exploit known as Lingo injection, users were able to inject custom Lingo code directly onto the client. This gave players extreme levels of control, allowing actions like banning users, giving out credits, and changing system behavior. Imagine having millions of credits and mod-like powers in the hotel. Lingo injection represented one of the most powerful forms of manipulation in Habbo's early history, not just altering objects and avatars, but directly interacting with the game's underlying code. Now we're going to move on to major scripting events and notable scriptors. As scripting evolved in Habbo, certain events and individuals began to stand out. Some exploits weren't just minor quirks, they caused widespread chaos and affected rooms and even shaped the way staff approached security. And among the scriptors, a few became legendary. Players who didn't just experiment quietly but went fully public, sharing methods, tools, and exploits with the wider hotel community. Sonic Mouse. Active between 2001 and 2003, Sonic Mouse is widely remembered as one of the most infamous scriptors in Habbo hotel history. He gained notoriety for causing chaos within the client, often scripting unreleased or rare furniture publicly. His exploits disrupted rooms and caught the attention of both players and staff alike. Sonic Mouse was banned countless times, only to return under similar account names, cementing his reputation as a persistent and high-profile scripter on Habbo Hotel UK. Rumors circulated that he had been arrested and that Sulake attempted to take him to court, though in reality the situation was settled privately outside of a court. Though he's no longer actively scripting, Sonic Mouse has occasionally logged in under the account Sonic Mouse 2. In a post on the Facebook Habbo reunion group from November 2020, he clarified, "I wasn't ever arrested/sued by the company. In 2003, I moved from Texas to Wisconsin. Once I got to Wisconsin, I went back to school and focused on that and lost interest in Habbo. I know it's not as cool of a story, but it's the correct one." H4660. In 2005, another notable scripter emerged on Habbo UK, user H4660. Shortly after the opening of a new Habbo fan site drop-in room, H4660 showcased a striking exploit. The room was filled with blue PH boxes. This was possible because of the encryption that had been cracked, allowing users to create server-side furniture. It marked the first public demonstration of server-side furniture since 2003. H4660's actions essentially restarted the era of server-side scripting, and in the days that followed, many popular rooms across the hotel were manipulated using these methods. Habbo staff responded quickly, changing the encryption multiple times throughout the week, and eventually patching the exploit entirely. H4660's work showed that even after years of patches and bans, scripting could resurface in new and creative ways, and that the hotel's vulnerabilities were never fully gone. Jeffer. One of the earliest and most influential scripters in Habbo history was Jeffer, also known as Socket or 13. He was one of the first to exploit the UK hotel, which at the time was the only hotel in existence, using a wide array of original scripts. Between 2001 and 2002, Jeffer became well known for a notable scripted room called the 13th Floor, where he demonstrated numerous exploits. He was waving Habbos years before the feature was officially released. Colored stickies, placing posters anywhere on the screen, moving furniture off screen, spawning rare furniture like dino eggs and blue and gold pods. Jeffer didn't just rely on existing exploits, he created his own tools. He coded Habix, however you pronounce it, and edited a version of a program called Habbo, originally made by one of his friends. Through coding, Jeffer also uncovered malicious scripts, including methods to force users to whisper their passwords and the ability to mute or kick players without Habbo staff or moderators. His work represents some of the earliest examples of both creative and dangerous scripting, setting the stage for the next generation of Habbo scripters. Jeffer was an active player when I started playing back in 2023. I had the pleasure of being his friend. He owned a booster and taught me a lot about boosting Wired and told me stories about his scripting days. A real OG veteran who was an overall kind guy. I remember the last time we spoke, I was rooting for him to work on his achievement hallway room, kind of like his final contribution to the boosting community to help others with resources to boost achievements. Jeffer wasn't just a scripter. He had been an active member of the Habbo community for over 22 years, building a wide circle of friends and acquaintances along the way. His passing in the summer of 2024 became a moment of profound significance for the hotel. Habbo hosted one of its most notable virtual funerals, with hundreds of Habbos visiting his memorial to pay their respects and reminisce about the old memories they shared. For several days, the community came together in unity, honoring not only his impact on Habbo's history, but also the friendships and moments he helped create. It was a rare, precious moment in the hotel's history, showing how one person could leave a lasting mark on a digital world. Rest in peace, Jeff. Suzu, or Deck. Another influential figure in Habbo scripting history was British scripter Suzu, also known as Deck. I've ran across him currently playing on the hotel as Deck, so I'll refer to him as Deck. Active from 2002 to 2005, Deck was notable for creating the first Habbo Retro V1 private server, while also exploiting UK and USA hotels. He didn't stop there. Deck leaked multiple mod logins for Habbo Netherlands, and like user H4660, he was one of the few elite scripters to discover and abuse a method to tag server-side furniture. This technique allowed him to transform a single piece of furniture, such as a duck, into anything he wanted, including server-side colored furniture. Unlike standard items, he didn't need to be the room owner to spawn these objects, meaning he could replace furniture in other people's rooms with whatever he wanted, with the PH box being one of the most notorious examples. At one point, it even took control of Habbo USA's homepage newsfeed for a few hours, demonstrating just how far skilled scripters could reach into the hotel systems. Deck's work exemplifies the elite tier of early Habbo scripters. GX. User GX began mass erroring Habbos and moderators during 2007, spreading from public rooms to private rooms. His attempts are notable because of the avatar's paper bag look. GX was arrested after he cracked the encryption for version 8 of Habbo. He was later arrested, and as quoted on Habbox forum, he said, "Yes, I got arrested by the Met Police Specialist Crime Unit. Yes, my computer was seized. Yes, I got given bail. Yes, I went to court in London. Yes, I got given 100 hours community service and a fine." Scripting in Habbo wasn't just a way to break the rules, it was a part of the hotel's history. From early experiments, players continually found ways to reshape the game. Some became legends, remembered for pushing boundaries of what's possible. for creativity, chaos, and sometimes controversy. Scripting left a mark not only on the hotel's code, but on the community itself. It united players, inspired innovation, and even created moments of collective memory, like the virtual funerals and reunions that showed how deeply Habbo connected people across the world. While many of these exploits are long gone, their impact is still felt today. They remind us that even in a digital hotel of pixels and avatars, human creativity and curiosity can leave a lasting impression. So the next time you log in, remember, Habbo's history isn't just about rooms and furniture, it's about the people and the stories they created and the legacy they left behind. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into Habbo's scripting history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you have any recommendations on other Habbo topics I should do, please let me know in the comments. Peace.